Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 38 from Delicious Party PreCure, which was a super lovely episode when it comes to Yui and her grandmother, but a tad confusing when it comes to the lore of the season. I thought that we were going to discover lots of things about Ginger, but we kinda didn't. So the heroes travel back in time with Mari, and I found the introduction of the episode kind of weird too, because simply Komekome has this power. They just know she has this power and they just go back. And it's obviously very convenient that she goes to sleep and when she wakes up, they have to go back. And there are also rules that they cannot mess up with the past, so they put on all those rules. They cannot interfere with what happens. That's basically it. And if they do interfere, that power is taken away from them. And so they get to Oishi in town, they meet the people that they already know, and they're preparing a party, a farewell party to Ginger. The person they meet first is An, who is Takumi's mom. And it's very interesting because she sees Mari and she knows it's one of Ginger's friends. Remember what Amane's parents said last episode, that someone wearing the same costume as him would arrive and it would be his friends? So Ginger already knew that they were going to time travel and do something in the past. So that's what happened. They already recognized that they were Ginger's friends, so they were all receptive. And obviously, we don't have no one there who knows who they are because, well, they were not alive at that time. They're all kids, and this was all 20 years ago. And it's funny when you look at Oishi in town, you see the big maneki Neko being constructed. You see how people, at least the people we see in this episode, are affected by the Maneki Neko from Yone herself and how much she makes this impression and how she influences people. People love her. And there is one thing about people in Oishi town, even in the past, they're all very kind. They are all very lovely and they all make food to make other people smile. And this is something that is very strong with Yone. So there was a very heartwarming moment when Yui was getting into the house and the girls were all there to support her because she was going to meet her grandmother, who is now deceased. And well, she had to deal with that. It is someone who is very close to her. It is someone who is very important to her and a person who she can't talk to anymore. And she was meeting that person. How strong must that be for her? How hard must that be for her? And she confronted head front, and she went on and, you know, she spent some time with everybody. They all had a very good time. But then Yui had her own moment with her grandmother. And that was my favorite part of the episode. I absolutely loved that scene. It was super sweet. It was super lovely. And I really loved the things that Yone had to say. For a while, I wondered if Yone had some sort of magical powers. It doesn't seem like it. It seems that her own influence around people were through her actions and her words and the way she treats people, the way she cooks for people. That is her real influence. And I like that more than if she was a legendary cure or if she was some sort of power. I feel like that makes her even more important. And that makes a lot of sense with Yui's character. If she turns out to be someone legendary, some sort of legendary creature or anything, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that now, because I really like that position of a simple woman who has no special power being so powerful, And the way she talked to me was so beautiful and so emotional. Like the way she said that the thing that she can leave for the younger generations is through her words and through her teachings. And the way she looked at you and said, look, I look at you and I think of you as my family. That was so cute. So cute. Yone doesn't know, but we know. And that was so, so, so cute. Now let's get to Ginger. Ginger wears a cat-like mask. He kind of has this wrestler costume, but his costume is at the same time very resemblant of the Bundoru gang costume. a black vest with bones in it. And so, like, why? So when he sees Mari, he's like, "Are you Mari?" And then Mari starts playing with him with that cat thing, and he recognizes Mari instantly because of that. Remembering that this is 20 years ago, we don't know how old Mari is exactly, but thinking like Mari is 30, at the time Mari would have been 10. So Mari wouldn't have even been a cook fighter yet, probably. So it's kind of hard to know, but he recognized Mari, and he knows that there was this possibility of time travel. He cannot fix Mari's delicious stone because he cannot mess with the future, and he cannot do anything about it. And so we don't really know what Ginger is actually trying to do. And then we kind of see what he is trying to do. We get to see the original Kome Kome. We have a very sweet scene of the original mascots appearing and interacting with them. And then we get to the actual plan from Ginger. Oh, but before that, we have Cinnamon. So Ginger says that what happened to Cinnamon, the way Cinnamon was framed, was in a way that there was absolutely no doubt that it was Cinnamon who stole the recipe bond. So I'm wondering, who did it and why? How could they pin it on Cinnamon to leave it with no doubt that it was him? Now I'm so curious about it all. And so we have that scene of Ginger creating something. That something he was trying to create is a Hoka Hoka Hearts accumulator. And Mari asks him if he's going to be able to do it because they were never able to do one outside of Cook Kingdom. But he was trying to do it still because he knows that there can be a future necessity for it here on Earth. And so he creates it in all of Oishi town. But the thing about it is that they were not being able to do it, him and the three fairies. And so Kome Kome the First used all their power to and ended up sacrificing themselves so that they could create this Hoka Hoka Hearts accumulator here. So, two things about it. The first one is that I didn't understand why they were doing it because, well, okay, I understand that there might be a future threat that the Hoka Hoka Hearts accumulator in Oishi town would be necessary. But we never saw it actually being used. So, like, how does that work? Is it gonna be explained or not? Or is it just a way of capturing Hoka Hoka Hearts and sending it to Cook Kingdom? Because we've seen that in action once in Delicious Party, which was Cure Finale's birth. Cure Finale's birth was only happened because when Amani was very young, she created Hoka Hoka Hearts based on her feelings, and those feelings created the Parfait de Pipi, who gave her her power later on when she became Cure Finale. That was the only time that we actually saw that happening. The Hoka Hoka Hearts produced in Oishi town ended up affecting Cook Kingdom. And that's it. So far, that's everything we saw. So that's the second thing. So I really hope they explain it more. Really do. And we don't see anything else apart from it. We see that Kome Kome the First sacrificed themselves to create this accumulator, and then the energy ended up birthing Kome Kome the Second, who is the Kome Kome we see now. And the choice of erasing the memories was their own. They chose to do it. Men Men and Pum Pum chose to erase their memories from that moment. So it's not something that Ginger did. Definitely not something that Ginger did. And Ginger doesn't seem to be some sort of villainous creature. Ginger is Godats. I have no idea anymore. So one thing that was kind of weird to me at that moment was that Ginger didn't seem to be all that distressed when Kome was sacrificing themselves. I felt like it kind of lacked a little bit more emotion in that scene. Like something big was happening. But anyways, so the girls come back, and when they come back, Black Pepper was not able to handle Secret-Rouge. And that was a very interesting moment because we were able to see how Secret-Rouge knows things about the delicious cures. Like she knows how they work. She knows how they have that SCPP thing in their watch. They know, and like she knew that they were not around. Because if they were around, they would have been warned and they would quickly be there with her. Like she knows those things. It's very interesting. And Black Pepper could not handle himself in a fight. So the Cures jump in and look, the fight in this episode was very interesting. It was short, but it was very nice. The choreography was so good. I loved it. And the girls were all fired up while fighting because they were inspired by Godats, by Ginger, and by Yone as well. Because both of them were doing their best for the smiles of people around them. Yone by influencing people in a good way, and Ginger creating that big thing that he was trying to do to protect people and their smiles. And the smiles here are geared with food making. And because that's how Yone is always expanding her influence around people. People love her because of her love for food and how she does delicious foods and delicious words as well. And so they beat it very fast. There is another interesting thing about Black Pepper, which is his delicious stone is able to heal himself. That doesn't seem to be a recurring power because we don't see Mari's delicious stone doing it. So when Mari sees it, it's clear to Mari that that was Cinnamon's delicious stone. And Ginger told Mari that they need to go see Cinnamon so that they can learn more about what happened. And Mari doesn't know where Cinnamon is, but now they will because they know that there is a relation between Black Pepper and Cinnamon. So they are gonna go after Black Pepper for sure. And there's obviously this thing about Takumi not being able to fight, and he will be very sad because of it. He will be in distress. He will be like, oh my god, I'm not able to protect Yui. Girl, Yui doesn't need you to protect her at all. And at the end of the episode, we learned that the narrator for Delicious Party is Yone herself. She is watching everything from above, and she is experiencing the season just like we are. So I found that at this episode, I'm gonna compare these episodes to the past two. The past two episodes have been very good episodes in terms of plot of the season, and not very good in terms of character episodes. The Ren episode wasn't a good Ren closure, and the Amane episode wasn't a good Amane closure, in my opinion. This episode was the other way around. It was a very good Yui moment. But in terms of plot, I found it a little confusing, and I have no idea where Delicious Party will go from now on. So I think Yui fans are going to be very happy about this episode. I'm not the biggest Yui stan, but I really like her, and I found this episode to be very solid. And next week, we're going to have more Yui moments, and I feel like it's going to be her closure. It's going to be her last episode. And, well, we're on to some serious stuff. What are your theories concerning the future of Delicious Party PreCure? Anyways, babies, this is all for now. I just want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.